Welcome to the American Dream in the Eyes of Immigrants podcast. I am your host, Heidy De La Cruz, and I am on the mission to change the narrative of immigration, one immigrant story at a time. Well, Yara, thank you so much for being here and being willing to share your story and your journey of coming to the United States from Brazil. And let's start off with, your life in Brazil, how you grew up, and then we can talk about the events that led you to come to the United States.
Okay, well, thank you. You're amazing.
Aww.
And I feel, very well because, I feel that you're famous. So
I'm famous.
Honored. I am honored to be here. And, my life in Brazil, it was kind of complicated because I moved a lot. Okay. So I didn't have many friends because, every time I will make friends, I will move. Yeah. So I was born in Jundiaí, São Paulo. It was kind of big city that was near the capital, São Paulo, right? And then I moved away to another city because my dad, until today, he builds company for equity. Okay. So you build a company and then sell it. And most of the time, you start another company in another city or another state. So I, moved back and forth, to places. So I was, a very shy child. I had some trauma, so I was kind of aggressive too. But we don't have to go into that. Okay. And I didn't have many friends. So it was one thing that I was, very happy to move because I was since I didn't make friends here, so
you maybe didn't really miss anything, right?
Not really. Yeah. That's the thing. When people ask me do you miss Brazil, I'm I miss the place itself, but I don't actually have people there that I miss, Mm-hmm. Well, only the boys, but besides that, family or friends, not really, because I was a very disconnected person, emotionally. Okay. So I don't have people to miss in there.
Okay. And siblings? Did you have any siblings?
I do have one sister. She lives here in the United States too. Okay. Yeah. When we moved, we all moved together. So yeah. She wasn't married, so now she's married. She found her love. Yeah. So she lives here as well.
So in total, it's just two of you guys?
It was 3. Yes, it was 3. I used to have an older sister. Back in Brazil, that was actually the reason that we moved in here. She was 22 years old, and she had 2 babies. Okay. So the oldest one, he was 3 years old, and the youngest, he was 4 months old. And and then she passed away. It's okay. It's a short, long story, but I don't know if I have ever heard about the Genius Baby.
No.
The Genius Baby is basically a project that when you get pregnant, the moms do, right? So it's for the mom to heal all the traumas that she has and all healthy problems that she has. So let's say she's allergic to something, or she needs to treat something, she's missing some vitamins or something like that. Mm-hmm. So they do a treatment to the mom. So that way, if the mom is in perfect health, the baby gonna be a really smart baby. Because if your body can produce a baby, even when your body's inflamed and is a good baby, imagine if your body's perfect. Okay. So she did that, right? So she wouldn't eat anything that was bad, any processed food, no sodas, no excess sugar, no gluten, no dairies. And she passed all the pregnancy like that, right? Mm-hmm. So the baby was born. When the baby was born, she was still breastfeeding. So it was still recommended for her to not, eat bad stuff. Because everything that you eat, you also pass to the milk. Mm-hmm. So she did that. And then when the baby was already 4 months old, she was okay, I'm really craving a burger. So my parents was okay, that's fine. Already past 4 months. You're good. What one burger gonna do? So she went to Burger King in Brazil to eat a burger. Maybe for bad hygiene or something. There was a very bad and strong bacteria in the burger that she started feeling really bad. Actually, my dad also felt bad because they all ate the burger. Yeah. And my mom didn't feel anything. My mom's just like a rock. She doesn't get sick at all. So she started feeling really bad. We took her to the hospital. They thought it was just like a food intoxication, and then you wouldn't get like better at all. And then by the second time she got to the hospital, like they discovered that was already, too late to discover. That was actually a really bad bacteria, and it was already taking all over her organs. So she basically had like generic like death on all the organs. And that was like 48 hours after she ate the burger.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was like very sudden.
Quick, yeah.
Nobody was expecting. Nobody thought it was like that
she
serious.
was 23.
22. Yeah, she was 22 years old. And then her plans, she was living with us because her and her husband were living with us. That was in Rio Grande do Norte, Natal. They were living with us because they were preparing themselves to move to the United States.
Okay.
So they took their visas. They were doing like preparing the kids, because their plans. She was studying for trading to work with investments here in the United States with the market, and they were preparing. And it was like, okay, so what now? Well, we're gonna be for the boys. Like that was her dream to come here. So we decided to pretty much sell everything. And we bought a ticket for like 2 months. So after she passed away, we were here like 2 months after we were here in the United States.
Wow. Okay. So your sister passes suddenly. And then 2 months later, you guys are moving to a whole new country.
Yes.
Okay. How old were you?
I'm 23.
And when did that happen? How old were you when that
I was 18.
18. Oh my goodness. So not that long ago, by the way.
5 years ago, actually.
Wow. Like, how did you feel? Like, walk me through that. Like, how were you feeling with all that?
Well, it was very hard.
Yeah.
It was like, she was like a model for everyone because she was like the first daughter. She was the first granddaughter. She was the first niece. She was everything, for everyone.
Very common in the Latino community. Okay.
Yes. And she was also like a very good person. So everyone loved her so much. Like you didn't have like a bad thing to talk about her. Yeah. She was literally like the perfect one. And even, it's actually something funny that me and my sister will tell that she was our favorite sister.
There's always a favorite.
Yes, there's always a favorite.
Yes.
She was the favorite. She was the favorite. Yeah. So it was very hard because it was not only like having a sister pass away, but every time we would look to the boys, we would see her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the baby one, of course, he didn't remember until today. He doesn't have any memories from her. But the oldest one, he would ask like, "Where's my mom?"
Yeah.
And that was like the hardest question. Like there's no answer. Like how are you gonna say to a boy, that his mom never gonna come back anymore?
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
So then you guys packed up everything. 2 months later, moved to the United States. So before you moved, it wasn't in your plans to leave Brazil, was it?
No.
No,
not
you
at
never
all.
thought about leaving or anything like that. So,
No.
So because of this tragic experience, and all of a sudden now everybody's moving, like, did you by any chance have any expectations before moving here or anything like that?
Not really. So I was in Brazil. I was engaged.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, very early. I know.
No, that's
fine. Yeah, I had a 3-year relationship, and I was going to get married that was like 2018. I was going to get married like beginning of 2019.
Okay.
So I didn't want to move to the United States at all. And the thing is like, why? Okay, I understand. Like we have to go and everything, but I'm about to get married, so I could stay and get married, and stay here. Yeah. Because the thing is, I believe in all Latino, culture is like you can only leave the house if you're married.
The American thing is to leave at 18, not for us. You stay in your house until you're getting married. Yes.
So that was the thing, and my dad like, no, you're not staying. You have to come. And then my, ex-fiance, he was like, just go, don't be like that with your parents, and I'll try to go for you. But yeah, he was like, I'm gonna try to follow you, just give me some time and I'll try to do my things in here and then I'll go. Yeah, unfortunately, it did not work out because the thing is, to come to United States is very hard.
Say that again.
To come to the United States is very hard.
Yes,
it's
thank
very
you. Because
hard.
there's a lot of misconceptions about that, but yes.
Yeah. Like he had no passport and then he had no visa.
Yeah.
And for you to get a visa, you have to do an interview and everything.
Yeah.
And then
whole process.
Yeah. And then he had lost his job because he changed states with us. So he came back to his state. So he didn't had, job yet. And then there also, a little bit of racism as well, because he's Black. So the thing is, like, a young, single man coming to United States, red flag for them,
Yep.
So it's just like, they're like, nah.
Yeah.
So it was very hard. So he couldn't come. He couldn't even do his visa. So, I was heartbroken, like, in a brand new country with a brand new culture, also a new language, So
and you're going through grief. You're experiencing grief. And I know grief very, very well because I've lost, a few family members. So it's like that in itself is hard. And then you're changing your life completely. And had to break up. You're grieving two things. You're grieving your sister and then you're grieving the end of that relationship, which was... supposed to be your lifelong relationship.
Yeah.
Man, that is a lot.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So about the expectations, one of the things, like, I didn't had any expectations for United States because the thing is, I didn't want to come. So, I'm here, so I'm just going to make the best of it, out of it. So I didn't have, like, what to expect because it was also too fast.
Yeah.
Everything happened, like, so fast.
Yeah.
So I didn't have time to think about anything.
Okay.
At all.
That makes sense, yeah.
At all. Any time to think.
So you learned English here?
No.
No, you knew English back home? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you... Because I have a few guests who, when they do learn English back home and they come here, they realize that, like, the English can be a little bit different, or, like, they felt like they knew English, but then when they got here, they realized, like, man, like, I really don't know English. Like, did you have any of that, or?
No.
Okay, cool.
The thing is about that is because I learned English when I was 14.
Okay.
And I decided to learn English by myself. So I taught myself English. What was the difference is that when I did learn English, I learned the British English.
Okay.
So when I did came, I had a British accent.
Oh.
So that was like, it faded away like in the first year. It faded away because, you're hearing like American English all day long.
Yeah.
Your accent gonna change, know? So that was the only thing, but it was not actually like something hard.
So you taught yourself to read, write, and speak English?
Yes.
Oh,
actually taught myself how to read in Portuguese too when I was 4.
When you were 4. Wow.
Yeah. And then I taught myself English when I was 14, Spanish when I was 16, and Italian when I was 17.
So tú hablas español?
Sí, yo hablo español todo el tiempo.
Way.
Sí.
Oh, that's awesome. Look at you. So you know 4 languages.
Yes. Polyglot.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Or polyglot. Yeah. Polyglot.
See, I don't even know the words. Nice.
It's okay.
That is amazing because one thing that I have said before on the podcast is, like, the United States does not emphasize a lot in, like, teaching language, a different language or multiple languages when kids are small. Because I feel like that's when they pick it up, the most. But it's like Spanish is like an elective, like in middle school and high school, but it's like by then it's like, you don't really practice it. So that's amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Do you practice all 4 of them?
Yes.
Yeah.
In some type of way. Because the thing is, it's hard to practice all of them. For example, the Italian was the last language. So because I learned less, so it's the last that I'm going to use.
Okay.
So I watch shows in Italian so I can keep up the vocabulary and like hearing and everything. But I actually have nobody to practice Italian.
Yeah.
So sometimes I just, talk back to the shows in Italian to practice a little bit, but it's not as fluent as Spanish and English that I use every day.
Yeah. So I know we're going to get to what you do later on towards the end of the show, but you help Spanish-speaking clients then too, right?
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So you have like a broad range of people that you can actually help.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that for you.
Yeah. Half of my clients, they're Spanish, and half of my clients are Brazilians.
Brazilians, nice.
And
so let's talk about when you first got to the United States, the cultural shocks.
Okay.
I know you had mentioned a little bit about the Brazilian community, but did you experience like any cultural shocks or anything that was like, whoa, that's different here than what it is in Brazil?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So the culture shock was I was raised in a church. So I believe all Brazil is like that. People like help you. Like you just knock their door and ask for water, they're gonna go and give you.
Okay.
You know, like they trust people like very easy, and they help people like a lot.
Yeah.
So when we came here, we didn't know much people, right? And we knew like one Brazilian, and he wouldn't help us.
Oh no.
Yes. And then all the other Brazilians that we met, like, you know, before COVID, it was like they would try to take advantage of you.
Oh no.
So we kind of, you know, suffer a little bit with that because people would try to take advantage of us because we're new, because we didn't know, and things like that. And that was a shock because it was like, damn, like I cannot believe like people from my country.
My own people.
Yeah, my own people.
Yes,
my own people is acting like that. Like that's not nice. That's like horrible. Yes. And I would never, you know, think Brazilians would be like that. Probably it's something that they developed in here because, you know, the survival thing, you know, like to survive, in order to survive, they have to step on someone. But it's not something that you actually see in Brazil, or I didn't have that experience in Brazil.
In Brazil, yeah.
You know, so that was something I was like, I don't like that.
Yeah. And so did you have any non-immigrants help you, or like in the beginning of your guys' journey, you guys got here, did you guys have any non-immigrants like actually like extend a hand to you guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, well, in Brazil, we used to go to a church, right? So when I came to the United States, I found a church that was like near to the house, and I stepped in, and I started going like kind of often in there. Yeah. And I met a girl that she was one of the pastors in there, and that was just one time that we were in Disney Spring, and we only had one car. Everyone was in there, you know, just walking around and meeting the place. We were like brand new in here, and the battery of the car died completely, and that was already late, and we called like the securities. Nobody had a battery or anything how to help us. And people like were trying to approach people like in the parking lot, but everyone was scared. Oh. Cause, you know, a bunch of weird people just, you know, asking for, you know, a jump. So, and yeah, there was nobody to help us. And then my dad, he called like the people that he knew, like the Brazilian ones, and nobody will come to help. They were like, you figure it out. And I was like, damn. I was like, okay, so let me try my turn. Let me try, you know, to reach out to the girl from the church. So I did reach out to her. And she was actually doing painting the church. That was like late at night. She was painting the church and out doing like maintenance. And she was like, yes, absolutely. I'll come for you. Don't worry. Just wait out. And that was like further away from Kissimmee, right? So like Disney Spring, like where she was, it was like all the way from the other, you know, tip of Kissimmee. And I was like, okay. So I was like, okay, they're coming. And when she showed up, it was like 40 minutes after, because, you know, the drive was like a long drive. It was like full of pain. It was like, yes, we're here to help. I was like, damn, like that's so amazing. Like they literally stopped whatever they were doing, right? So late at night to just help someone that she saw like a couple times. And I was like, wow. So I never forget. Like, and actually today, like, well, until today, I still go to the church because there was something that, like, you know, it touched my heart. I was like, wow, that's something that is not an ordinary person that gonna do it, you know. It's a God person.
God people. I was about to say that's how you know those are God's people. Yeah, they will help whenever they can or extend their hand, and if they are not able, they'll find someone. It's like, hey, I can't do it, but I know this person who can. Yeah. Wow. What is one thing you wish you knew before moving to the United States, or about the United States, or anything?
One thing that I knew.
You wish you knew.
I'm not sure. I don't think nothing. It was actually, I think the way you answer this question is, if I knew something, or if I knew something that I was going to pass, I would probably act differently, and I would not be where I am right now. Because I believe we all learn with our mistakes and the things that we see and how we react like at the moment. That if we know that this is going to happen, then we might try to change and then we can mess it up.
Yeah.
So I think I don't wish I knew anything.
I hear, yeah, because everything does happen for a reason. And my husband always reminds me of that, especially when I like think back of the things that I've been through, and I'm just kind of like, I wish I would, do this or do that. And he's like, no, because then you wouldn't be where you are today. Like, he always reminds me of that.
That's the mindset. Yes, that's the thing. Yes, exactly.
So I completely understand where you're coming from. You guys moved from Brazil straight to Florida, or did you guys move to another state and then move to Florida?
No, we came straight to Florida.
Straight to Florida?
Yeah, straight to Orlando.
Straight to Orlando. Here you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was easy because we had the kids, and then they wouldn't, think that we're coming to stay because we came with a tourist visa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything you miss about home? I think you mentioned it earlier that there was.
Not really.
Yeah.
Like I'll go to Brazil like to visit like the places itself, because of course I love Brazil. Like, it's a gorgeous places to visit, So I missed that, like, traveling. I actually met a lot of states in Brazil. I went like to 17 or 15 states. I believe we have 23 in total, or 27 total, something like that. She knows probably. But yeah. And I went to a lot of them, like a lot. So I miss that, I still want to meet all of them, to go to each state of Brazil.
Well, let me know when you go back to Brazil, so then I can go, because I haven't been, and I definitely want to visit.
Girls trip.
Yes,
with Jasmine. She can help us with that. Yeah,
she can help us plan the trip. Yes, she can. There's so many different countries that I want to travel to, but definitely Brazil is one of them. Like, I like the Brazilian food, so
it's really good.
It's really good. It's really good. I know the Dominican food here is obviously very different from the one in the island. Is it the same for you guys? Like, the Brazilian food here is a little bit different?
Not really. The thing is, like, in Brazil, for every state they cook differently. Okay. So for every restaurant they have a type of cuisine. So for example, I did not know that. Yeah. Okay. So for example, there is this restaurant named Café Mineiro. Okay. Where they do food from Minas. Okay. So if someone from São Paulo goes there, they're gonna see that, it's not exactly like from home. Of course it's not. It's from another state.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So there is things like that, but like the most, what they usually do is like a general food. They don't do like
specific
dishes from each state. So if you would say in that direction, then yes, it's not exactly the same ones from Brazil. Yeah. But the way they cook is pretty much all the same thing.
So when you go to, or when us Americans go to a Brazilian steakhouse,
that is exactly how we do.
Over there, yeah.
Yes.
So what part of Brazil is that typically from?
So they're actually like cutting meat and bringing to the table. That's something from the south of Brazil.
Okay.
Yeah, that is like it's the south. So they started this thing, but then like Brazil everyone started doing too. So it's something that you're going to find everywhere in Brazil. And it's something that you can find, not like we do steak, right? Of course. But we also do other things. Like we do also pizza, like rodizio of pizza, that just pizza comes to your table and you say yes or no.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting hungry.
Yes. There's also other things. We do also like what you guys call, we call pastel, but it's like, it would be like the Puerto Rican empanada. Okay. So we also have rodizio of that. Okay. They just fill with different fillings, and like the pasta table, yes or no. Yeah. We do for everything. Do rodizio. Yes.
Nice. Okay, man, I gotta go. Yeah. I really gotta plan a trip to Brazil.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So I want to switch now to how you got into the business that you're in.
Okay. All right. So basically my dad started kind of. He started doing health insurance in 2020.
Okay.
He, wanted me to join and work with him and yada, yada, yada. But they were going through a divorce, him and my mom, and I was more to my mom's side. So I didn't want to, be part of that.
Yeah.
So, and then he started in 2020 and he was, becoming very successful.
Yeah.
And then I was like, that's interesting. You're making money. I want to make money too.
Yes.
So I was working actually as a server. After I got my papers, I, started my first job, documented and everything. So I started working as a server in Red Lobster. And then my sister, would nonstop telling me, Yara, go take your license. Go take your license. I was like, oh, okay, you know what? I will. So I decided to start studying. So I started studying to take, it was the goal, it was to do health insurance, with my dad and his company and everything. But then when I finally took my license, I got a amazing opportunity to work with insurance and also to be a financial professional.
Okay.
And then it all came back the first reason that why we came to the United States. That was to follow my sister's, dreams.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, that is it. I have to do that. Okay. So I took the opportunity, and then I got actually to see that, of course, health insurance is something that is beautiful, we all need it because, United States is crazy in the health side.
Yes, it is.
Way crazy expensive.
Yes.
But then I also got to see the other types of insurance, like the disability insurance and long-term care and life insurance. I was like, wow, that's amazing. I want to do that.
There's a lot more, yeah.
There's a lot more. And I also like the retirement thing because all Brazilians, when we come here, we're like, coolest. We don't even think about retiring. People are still thinking about how they're going to pay their next bill.
Not just Brazilians, honey. Yes, that's a whole thing, yes.
Yes. So that's when I saw the opportunity, I was like, wow, I want to keep studying and I want to be that.
Yeah.
So that's how basically started, but it was an inspiration from my dad.
Okay. And so now you help people financially or with insurance?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's both ways.
Okay.
So financial professional is basically helping people planning their retirement.
Okay.
We also do planning child's education. So if you have a baby, for the last minute to, to take them to college because very expensive.
Very expensive.
So if you start saving a little bit, you can, actually give them a good choice, of education, also for retirement. And of course, for insurance as well, it's protecting yourself.
Yes.
And protecting your family and loved ones.
Yes. Life insurance is very important, guys.
Yeah.
So if you don't have life insurance, get in contact with Yara.
Yeah.
Which I'll have you put where people can get in contact with you in a minute. But my very last question is, what does the American dream mean to you?
The American dream. So, I told you before, I didn't come at all, wanting to come.
Out of your will.
Out of my will. So for me, the American dream is, to help people to see that it's possible to make something a living here in the United States.
Yeah.
But also to get back to Brazil, in a way to help people to understand and educate themselves. Okay. So in a way that they could come in here if they want to, but they could also be great in there, Yeah. And make it easy for them to, if they want to immigrate, they could, you know? In that way, I mean financially and being educated. Yeah. Because it's something that some people is oh, that's something that is a dream that is too far away. Yeah. And it's not actually, if you plan for something, you can do it. And if you fail to plan, then you're already planning to fail.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I just want to, have a good life in here, fill out the world with some kids.
I love it.
Just kidding. But basically give the opportunity to people and show them and educate them that they can also do the same thing. Here in the United States or in Brazil. It doesn't matter.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Well,
And
thank
invest
you.
in my country too.
Yes, yes,
That's part
definitely.
of like invest in my country, you know.
I feel like a lot of immigrants do that. They do give back to their country, once they get here. I feel like that's very common for us, whether it is sending money back to the family who's over there or sending clothes and things like that, helping in back in our home country. I feel like that's very, very common for us, for the immigrants, the immigrant community.
Yes.
So I love that. All right. Well, thank you
Thank you
so much for this. Your story is very, very touching, to be
Thank you.
completely honest, because it was very hard in the beginning. But look at you now.
Yes.